Welcome to Rebuilding Astroworld. My name is Swag, and I'm going to be building a full no custom scenery object recreation of Houston's local theme park, Astroworld. I've been wanting to build a full park. I was inspired by a fellow builder named Fidwell. You got to check out his channel. He rebuilt Dorney Park, and I think it was Cedar Point as well. My goal in this series is to rebuild but also reimagine a park that maybe didn't get a ton of funding and add some things here or there, but mostly keep the layout pretty much the same. And to start things off, we're going to take a look at the current state of the park on Google Earth, and then we're going to go and build some ride rough drafts that's going to help us landscape the park. You want to fill it with the rides and then start from there. So let's get into it. Okay, here we are. This is Astroworld, and I think there's only a few rides, so this shouldn't be too tough to handle. Those are storage facilities, and this is a giant parking lot. Well, I guess this isn't going to take as long as I thought, but I think we're going to be good to go. I just got to figure out what kind of texture I want to use. I'm just kidding, guys. Astroworld was actually sold and closed in 2005, and now it's just an extra lot for these football and baseball stadiums over here. So what we're really going to have to do is we're going to have to figure out how the park was when it was closed and do our best to recreate it. This is the best overview I've been able to find of the park. You can see all of the rides. You can kind of see the path layouts. Some of the water isn't in the park from the top down. Maybe it was emptied. Who knows? Off-season stuff. But you've got the full park here. You've got the water park right here. There's that bridge we saw on the overhead Google Earth. I'm going to do my best. It might be pretty tough because a lot of these rides are no longer in existence. There's only pictures of them. They took down a lot of the rides. Some of them were shipped to other parks, and a lot of them were never rebuilt. So we're going to do our best. We're going to hop on a map I've been working on for the park layout, and I'm going to start building some rough draft coasters. That might not be the final version of the coaster, but as close as we can make it without being too detail-oriented, because that's going to come later. So let's transfer over to a new map. You can see this is the general overview. That's where the bridge is going to be. And kind of basing everything from the bridge, I was able to map out a general layout of the park. A lot of this is not going to be final, but I just wanted to make sure we had like proportions where they were at. And then I threw around some rides where I think they would go based off of their location from the overhead view. And I put, like a wood coaster where the wood coaster is going to go, etc. Ultra Twister. You get the idea. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to head over here. And this is the Cyclone from the default game, but we're going to delete that. And we're going to go ahead and build the version that we would like. And just remember that this might not be the final version, but we're going to have some fun with it. Okay, so we're going to give it a test. We're going to follow the train. So this one's a really tough one to remake because The real life coaster really is kind of going over itself over and over and over. Should be going pretty slow over these top hills. It's a really long hill, but I think it's just what I have to do to make it look like it's in real life. There you go. Okay, coaster 1. Done. The next one is Ultra Twister. It's one of these weird inline twisting, I think it's called a Heartline coaster. And we're gonna have to make a long straight line look good. So I'm gonna go into the vertical drop coaster really quick so that we can cap off the top with like a steep. And then to be honest, probably want to do a hold break for the drop. It's going to go vertical, which this coaster type doesn't have, so we're going to stick with this. That should be enough to swap us back to the Heartline Twist coaster. These are really hard to make look pretty, but we're gonna do it. Hold it. Vertical. Oh, this is gonna go way too fast. You know what? That wasn't bad. I'm liking it. There you go. Maybe throw in some brakes and another track type. That might be a good idea for safety wise. That looks good. I'm happy with that. Next up is Batman the Escape. And in real life, this is an Intamin stand-up coaster. And to be quite honest, it's really janky. Doesn't flow very well. And in the concept of this map, we're going to reimagine this as a B&M stand-up coaster. You typically don't want to build this to the ground, but know that when you're building the rough drafts, you're going to be able to like move the ground later on. Okay, so something like this. I know that's a lot of straight track right there. The idea is it's gonna be going under the station, maybe through some theming or something like that. This one's really rough. I do think we're gonna make some changes in the end, but for now I'm sort of happy with the amount of elements we've got going on. We just have to figure out like to where it needs to move. Maybe spread it out just a little bit. Let's go ahead and test it and watch it. It's a little fast in the loop. That speed was good. Mid-course brakes. Might want to make that bigger somehow. Little bunny hill, then back to the station. Okay. I have to figure out a nice transfer track station thing too. Okay. That's a good one. That's a wrap. So the next coaster we've got going on is Serpent. This looks to be like a OG kids mine train aero coaster. And I'm gonna use the Vekoma looking track because that kind of looks like the OG aero kind of tubular track. And this is a small one. So we're gonna get this done pretty quick. So the fun part about this ride is it's really like a terrain coaster, and it's gonna look super stupid because it's one of the OG coaster types. So you'll see me put brakes on some of these rides, and that's because the overall jank of the older coasters was like friction enough to slow these coasters down. But in the game, you know, it's going to show a brake pad. What we'll do later on is just copy and paste some track over that. Now that's what I call a tough coaster to build. Maybe the brakes aren't needed, but we'll figure it out later. And it goes through the station and does a second loop. Now we're jumping over to Greased Lightning. And this is like a Schwarzkopf shuttle loop coaster. I love the default, but we're going to make our own version of it. And we've got these awesome medium loops, which is going to give it a better proportion to what we have like with the original. We'll have to do some custom supports to make it look like a Schwarzkopf loop, but still, that's the plan. Oh, wow. Never mind. I don't want brakes like that if it slows it down like that. Let's correct that right now. We'll use the editing to fix this. Perfection, dude. Caught me yawning, bro. I think it's perfect. Got to figure out how to do the supports on that loop, though. Moving on. We have Excalibur, which is a mine train. Another aero mine train. This is the like OG version of the park where this mine train still exists because an SLC has replaced it. And well, did replace it, and we're not gonna be building an SLC. So one of the fun things about these aero mine trains is they have the transfer track right after the station. test. See, that looks good, but that's how slow it's gonna be. We'll watch it from this perspective. The build-up. Elevated helix for days, dude. That's needed, because it'd be too fast coming on that train. Let's see how it takes this break. Yeah, that looks natural. Sort of like a natural jank, like slow the train down. This break might not even be needed. Boom. Up is called Mayan Mindbender. It's an indoor coaster. It's a Vekoma. What we're gonna do, this is what I did when I was thinking about building it, is I'm gonna build a block that it needs to sit in. And this coaster is supposed to sit in like a 12 by 14 block. So like it cannot go bigger than this because it's gonna be inside of a building. What a spaghetti bowl of track. That's the biggest drop right there. That's it. Looks good to me. Final coaster that we're going to be working on is XLR 8. This is an aero suspended coaster. We're gonna have like a second lift hill, but we gotta have the brake run ahead of time. They don't have brakes on this track type yet, so I'm gonna have to switch to like inverted to throw on the brakes. Just like regular inverted coaster. It's supposed to be going over the splash boat track, so that might be pretty cool. Interaction. Okay, this doesn't feel too fast. This ride's all about the swing, the back and forth of the swing. It's not about up and down. Oh, what is he swinging coaster? And just like turn around and pop and then like helix. Let's see if that brake was even necessary. It's going about 27, and I think I had the brakes at 27, so that's going to matter. Nope. So we might change the brakes later on, but I like the layout. Sort of a huge mess. But the lines are pretty clear, like nothing's too crazy on top of each other. Ooh, that might be a little bit of an issue. But from all other angles it looks good. So this is the bad angle. Okay, cool. That wraps it up. Now, there is a Schwarzkopf looper over here, but I've decided that I'm not going to be rebuilding Viper, and I'll probably do some other coaster revealed later on for this area, and I think it's going to only be built once we have more context to this area. So, just an overview. We've got Texas Cyclone, wooden coaster. We've got Ultra Twister, which is a Heartline twisting coaster, super long. We've got like a B&M looping multi-standing up coaster. And this one might get revised a little bit. This is sort of like, hey, we want to do a lot of inversions and make it a little bit bigger than the previous coaster. We got Greased Lightning, which is just a Schwarzkopf shuttle loop. So that's all good to go. And we got some of these smaller coasters. We got this family coaster called Serpent, which is a really old mine train. Or Aero coaster. Maybe it's not even considered an Aero mine train, but it's an Aero coaster. OG. The other one was in Six Flags Over Texas. And then we got a Vekoma Mayan Mindbender indoor coaster. This will be covered up. You won't even see it, but we built it anyways. We got this really weird Aero mine train, Excalibur. That's going to be a fun one to build supports on. And then the last one's XLR Rate, Aero Suspended Coaster. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And this isn't exactly where the rides are going to go, so I'm probably going to have to do this all over again, but we've got the rough drafts. We know where we want them to be in the context of the park, and I think the next few entries might be other track rides like the log flume or the splash boats or the river rapids, but to be honest, I'll take as much feedback as I can in the comments. What do you guys want to see? And then we'll kind of go from there. I will probably look at more of Fidwell's videos to see how he's designed his remake process, because it's a really good process, but we might make it our own, might do something a little different here and there. So give me some feedback in the comments, go ahead and follow, subscribe, and you'll get updates whenever the new videos come out. I'll probably post them on the Discords as well. But thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.